Hello friends, welcome to this channel. In this video, we will solve the question paper of 2017 ISRO scientist exam that came for the position of architect. So this video will help you in your upcoming exams. My name is Rahul and you are watching Architecture and Planning with Rahul. So let's start today's first question, that is, as per NBC 2005, under requirement of part of buildings, what is the minimum area and width of a habitable room when there is only one room? So friends, this NBC 2005 is an important book and generally lots of questions were asked based on this book, and its latest edition came on 2016. So in this book, various standards for room or site are given, and apart from this, what are the actual definition of the term used in architecture and planning is also given in this book. So just carefully read this book. Now let's get back to the question. So here they ask the width of habitable room and its minimum area. So the correct answer is option number B. The area should be 9.5 square meter and minimum width of one side will be 2.4 meter. Our second question is, as per NBC 2005, what is the minimum and maximum height of ceiling of any basement from the average surrounding level? So again, this question is based on NBC 2005. So let's understand through our diagram. Suppose this is the ground level and this is our basement, and some part of basement is out of the ground level. So in this question they ask what will be the minimum and maximum height of this as per NBC 2005. So it should be minimum 0.9 meter outside the ground level, but not more than 1.2 meter in height. So the correct answer of this question is option number A, minimum 0.9 meter and maximum 1.2 meter. Now move to the next question. What is the minimum width and height of the passageway required as per NBC for the firefighting vehicle to enter the premises at the main entrance? So friends, for firefighting, the minimum width of the entrance gate should be 4.5 meter and its height should be at least 5 meter. So the correct answer of this question is option number T, width 4.5 meter and height 5 meter. Next question is, as per NBC 2005, what is the minimum fire resistance rating for glass facade in high-rise building? Fire resistance rating for glass facade in high-rise building should be for 2 hours. Also, we have to understand the definition of fire resistance rating. It typically means the duration for which a passive fire protection system can withstand without a standard fire resistance टेस्ट. सो बेसिकली इसका मीनिंग है कि एक बिल्डिंग एलिमेंट का फायर रेजिस्टेंस कैपेबिलिटी कि वो कितनी देर तक फायर के समय स्टैंड कर सकता है जब तक कि कोई एक्सटर्नल हेल्प नहीं मिल जाती. और इसी तरीके से हर एक मटेरियल का अपना अपना एक फायर रेजिस्टेंस रेटिंग होता है. देयर फायर रेजिस्टेंस रेटिंग वैल्यू इज़ given in NBC 2005, so please refer that. देखते हैं अगला क्वेश्चन. एज पर NBC 2005, Automatic sprinklers shall be installed in basements used as park or storage occupancy if the area exceeds. So friends, the correct answer of this question is option number D, 500 square meter. अगर 500 स्क्वायर मीटर से ज़्यादा एरिया होता है किसी बेसमेंट का तो ऑटोमेटिक स्प्रिंकलर कंपलसरी होगा लगाना एज पर NBC 2005. Now move to our next question. Question number 6 is based on the guidelines and space standards for barrier free built environment for disabled and elderly person, match the statements in group 1 with true or false in group 2. So first we will see all the statement and try to find out what is true or what is false. So statement first is minimum width of ramp 1.8 meters. So this is correct. Second statement is minimum size of toilet shall be 1.5 meter to 1.75 meter. So this is also correct. Third statement is minimum width of stair shall be 1.5 meter. So this statement is false. The minimum width of stair should be 1.35 meter or 1350 mm. Fourth statement is minimum clear opening of exit entry door shall be 1.2 meter. So this is also false. Minimum opening of entrance or exit door should be 1.8 meter. According to this, the correct answer will be option number B, P1 Q1 R2 S2, because R and S are false statement and P and Q are true statements. So this question was based on barrier free built environment document. There are lots of standard values given for barrier free built environment design of a building. So please refer that book also. It is also important from the point of view of architectural practices, and these guidelines should follow in every type of buildings. Now the next question is the climatic factors that influence the optimum orientation of the building from the point of view of lighting and ventilation are. So prevailing winds is also correct, relative humidity, solar radiation and temperature. So the correct answer of this question will be all of the above, because the building orientation of a building depends on its prevailing wind, the direction of wind and the speed of the wind. Also relative humidity also affects the orientation of the building, and the direction and the temperature of that place where the building is designed for. So these 3-4 terms affects the orientation of the building. So the correct answer is all of the above. Question number 8 is match the following statements in group 1 with corresponding statements in group 2. So first is candela. So candela is the SI unit of luminous intensity. Second is lumen. Lumen is SI unit of luminous flux. Third is direct solar illuminance. So its definition is the illuminance from the sun without taking into account the light from the sky. And fourth is daylight penetration. So its definition is the maximum distance to which a given daylight factor contour penetrates into a room. So the correct answer of this question is option number A, P2 Q4 R1 S3. Our next question is the number of standard size I-class bricks per cubic meter of brickwork in centimeter is about. Let's see its options. So in this question they ask how many bricks will be fit in 1 cubic meter volume. So first of all we have to know what is the standard size of brick, that is 190 mm into 90 mm into 90 mm, and with mortar the size should be 200 mm by 100 mm by 100 mm. So this is given in mm, so first we have to convert it into the centimeter, which is this will be 20 centimeter by 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter, which means one brick will take 2000 centimeter cube of area. And now in question they ask for 1 cubic meter, so this will be 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. Now convert it into centimeter, it will be 100 centimeter by 100 centimeter by 100 centimeter. So the volume of 1 cubic meter is 10 lakhs centimeter cube. So now we have to find the number of bricks in 1 cubic meter. So it will come by dividing this total volume with the size of one brick. So after calculating this we will get the number of bricks, that is 500 nos. So the correct answer of this question is option number C, 500 numbers. So in 1 cubic meter volume 500 bricks will fit. Question number 10 is laterite is chemically classified as, so the correct answer of this question is option number A, argillaceous rock. Now move to the next question. The purpose of seasoning of timber is to, so timber को हम generally season करते हैं to remove its moisture content. So the correct answer will be option number B, reduce the moisture content. Next question is close contour of decreasing values towards their center represents. Let's understand it through a diagram. Suppose these are the contour lines and it is decreasing as we move to the center. So suppose this is 10 meter, this is 8 meter, this is 4 meter and this is 2 meter. So its section will be like this. If we cut it from this, so here the height is 2 meter, here 4 meter, here 8 meter and here it's 10 meter. So it is representing a depression. So the correct answer is a depression. Next question is creep strain is caused due to. So friends, creep strain of a building represent its dead load. So dead load is static or permanent load and it remain constant throughout the lifespan of a building. And this dead load generally comprises of the structural weight of building, such as its beam load, column load, wall load or floor or slab load. Cyclic load is defined as the load that are applied, removed or reapplied again on the building in different periods of the time. So here the load on the building is changing. So this type of load is known as cyclic load. Live load means any type of movable weight or load applied on building. It includes the furniture load, human load, and it does not remain constant throughout the different period of time. Let's move to the next question. A simply supported beam of span L carries a total load W which is uniformly distributed. The maximum bending moment M is. So the correct answer of this question is option number C, WL by 8. Similarly, if point load is applied on a simply supported beam, then the load will be WL by 4. But the correct answer of this question is WL by 8 because the load is uniformly distributed all over the simply supported beam. In a building, the function of air handling unit AHU is to. So let's see the given options. A is collect the hot air from room and throw it outside the building. B is collect fresh air from outside and circulate inside the building. C is purified and recirculate the cool conditioned air. D is act as a unit in which air is circulated from one place to another. So AHU is the heart of the AC system. It collects outside air and room air, remove dust and other particles from the collected air, adjust the temperature and humidity, and then supply the comfortable and refreshed air in the room. So the answer is option number B, collect fresh air from outside and circulate inside the building. So friends, these were all the questions that came in ISRO 2017 exam for the post of architect. And also these questions may come in your deputy architect or assistant architect exam that will be conducted by UPSC. Also, it can become in DDA or GATE architecture exams. So the main purpose of this video is to introduce you with the topics such as NBC, that is National Building Code 2005 and 16. Also with the barrier free built environment. Few other documents that you may refer is Contract Act, Tender Act. Please do read carefully all these documents. Question number 16 is match the items statements in group 1 with those in group 2. So first is crosstalk. Crosstalk is the disturbance in one sound due to another unwanted sound. So here 3 is the definition of crosstalk: the unwanted sound transmission between different spaces via duct. Second is pure tone. Pure tones are a sound emitted at a single frequency. So first will be the Q. The third is noise, that is unwanted sound hazardous to health. So this is R. And transit sounds are the sounds which are audible for a limited period of time. So fourth will be S. So our answer will be option A, that is P3, Q1, R2 and S4. Question number 17 is the primary difference between the model tab and the layout tab is. So this question is related to AutoCAD. In AutoCAD there are mainly two tabs. One is model tab and another is layout. So model tab is where you create your drawing, and it is like a big infinite page. Layout tab is where you can set your page of desired size, and it is mainly used to display the drawing as a sheet. From this you can print the sheet. So its answer is option number A. Model tab is used to create drawing and layout tab is used to represent the sheet to plot or print. Our next question is, which of the following refer to a model that represents all the dimension of an object, internal as well as external? So the answer of this question is wireframe model. So wireframes are generally found in softwares which used for creating 3D models such as AutoCAD 3D, SketchUp, 3ds Max and Rhino. And in this wireframe model, you can see the external as well as internal lines of an object. Our next question is, the orthographic projection that show more than one side of an object are called. So the answer of this question is isometric projections. Let's move to the next question, that is the performance of a specific task in critical path method. CPM is known as. So in a critical path method, different tasks are known as activities. The correct answer of this question is option number B, activity. Whereas dummy tasks are fake tasks which only use for maintain the logic of the network. Since this is a fake task, so it does not consume any resource or time. Question number 21 is, PERT technique of network analysis is mainly used for. So PERT is deterministic in nature. So the correct answer is deterministic activities. Our next question is, which is an unethical action with respect to the architect responsibility to his client? So let's see the statements one by one. Advises client to forego unviable project. So this is not unethical. Second is, does not offer preliminary sketches without an agreement. So it's also not unethical. Third is, undertakes construction for a fixed contract, sum under design build service. So it's also not unethical. Fourth is, guarantee any estimate for a cost of work. So this is the unethical practice. As an architect, guarantee any estimate or cost of work is an unethical practice. You can just give the tentative estimates and cost of work. Next question is, for earthquake resistance masonry structures, the vertical distance between openings one above the another in a load bearing wall shall not be less than. So friends, in an earthquake resistance structure, the distance between two vertical openings cannot be less than 60 centimeter. So the correct answer of this question is option number B, 60 centimeter or 600 mm. Question number 24 is, as per Indian Standard Code of Practice for pre-stress concrete, IS 1343-1980, the minimum grades of concrete to be used for post-tension and pre-tension structural elements are. So for post-tension we use M30 and for pre-tension we use M40 grade of cement. Therefore the correct answer of this question is option number C, M30 and M40. Let's move to the next question. Question number 25 is, ambient air quality standards in respect of noise for residential area zone during daytime and nighttime expressed in decibel lag as per noise pollution regulation control rules are. Let's see its options. So in residential areas, in daytime it should not increase above 55 and in night it should not increase above 45. So the correct answer of this question is 55 and 45. Here in this picture I have shown you the limit of noise in various zones. For industrial, in daytime it is 75 and in night time it is 70. For commercial it is 65 in daytime and 55 in night time. Residential it's 55 and in night it's 45, which is our answer. And last is silence zones. In silent zones, it should be 50 in daytime and 40 in nighttime. So just remember all these values. Next question is, blue baby disease in children is caused by the presence of excess dash in water. So it is caused by excess nitrates in water. So the correct answer is option number D. Our next question is, bituminous materials are commonly used in highway construction because of their good. So bituminous material have 2-3 good qualities, that is cementing and waterproofing. Then it is good binding material. Also it is very durable and strong. Here in these options, option number D is very close, which is binding and waterproofing properties, which makes the bituminous material very good for construction of highways. Next question is, width of carriageway for a single lane is recommended to be. So the correct answer of this is option number B, 3.75 meter. This is the width of a single lane. And similarly for double lane without curve, it is 7.0 meter, and with curve the width of double lane should be 7.5 meter. Question number 29 is, which two sentences in the following convey the same meaning? So P is, there should have been checking at the airport. Q statement is, I wonder if there should have been any checking at the airport. R is, I want to know if there was any checking at the airport. Last statement is, was not there any checking at the airport? So here in this question, statement Q and R conveying the same meaning. So the correct answer is option number A, R and Q. Question number 30 is antonym of quiescent. So first understand its definition. So quiescent meaning inactive. So its antonym is option number C, active. So the correct answer is option number C. Let's move to the next question. From the four alternatives given below, choose the one which can be substituted for the given sentence. A style in which a writer makes a display of his knowledge. And its correct answer is pedantic, option number B. Question number 32 is a numerical question. So let's solve it. Question is, if running at the same constant rate, 5 identical machines can produce a total of 225 bottles per minute. At this rate, how many bottles could 8 such machines produce in a half an hour? So in question, it is given that 5 machines is producing 225 bottles in 1 minute. So by dividing this with number of bottles, we can find the work done by one bottle, that is 45. So one machine is producing 45 bottles in 1 minute. Then 8 machines will produce 45 bottles each. But here time is given 30 minutes or half an hour. So by multiplying with 30, we can get our answer, that is 10800. Therefore, option number A is the correct answer. Question number 33 is, a dining hall is 6 meter long and 4 meter wide. If the sum of the floor area and ceiling area equals the sum of the area of 4 walls, then the volume of the hall in cubic meter is. First we will write what is given in the question. So the hall is 6 meter long and 4 meter wide. So this is the plan of hall. So in next line a condition is given that the sum of floor and ceiling area is equal to the sum of area of 4 walls. So we will first find out the sum of floor area and ceiling. So length into breadth and then multiplied by 2 we will get the sum. So length is 6, breadth is 4, and on solving this we will get 48 square meter. So as we don't know the height of the hall, then we will take it as h, and now we'll calculate the area of 4 walls. So in rectangle two sides are common, so we will write h, that is area of 2 walls, then 2 into 6 into h, that is area of another 2 walls with dimension 6 meter. And on solving this we will take 2h common, multiplied by 4 plus 6, that is 20h. As per the second line of the question, 20h is equals to 48 square meter. So value of h will be 48 divided by 20. So we will get the height, that is 2.4 meter. Now we have height, so we can easily find the volume of the hall, which is simply length into breadth into height. Therefore 6 into 4 into 2.4 equals to, and this will come as 57.6 cubic meter. So our answer will be option number C, 57.6 cubic meter. Let's move to the next question. This is again a numerical question, so we will solve it. The question is, how many of the following numbers are divisible by 72? So 72 is a composite number of 8 into 9. So if a number is divided by both 8 and 9, then it can be divided by 72. Finding the multiple of 9 is easy. The sum of given individual number is 9 or multiple of 9, then we can easily say that the number will be divisible by 9. For example, here first number is 360, so 3 plus 6 plus 0 becomes 9. So this will be divided by 9 for sure. Similarly, we will find that whether the number is divisible by 9 or not by simply adding this 4 plus 4 plus 7, so it will not divide. 5 plus 7 is 12, then 8 is 20, so this will also not divide. 6 plus 4 plus 8, that is 18, so it can be divided. 1 plus 8, it will also divide. This will not divide, and this will divide, and this can be also divided by 9. Now we have just 5 set of numbers left, so we have to just find that whether the number are divided by 8 or not. So just simply divide these number by 8. So this 360 can be divided by 8, 648 also divided by 8, 1080 can also be divided by 8, 1296 can also be divided by 8, and 1440 can also be divided by 8. So there are total 5 numbers which can be divided by 8 and 9. Therefore these 5 numbers will also be divided by 72 for sure. So our answer will be 5. Now move on to the question number 35. question is, if 200 meter long train traveling at 60 km per hour takes 1 minute to cross the bridge, then the length of the bridge is. So for better explanation, I am here creating a picture based on the question. Suppose this is the bridge and our train is standing here, and the length of the train is 200 meter, and it is running with a speed of 60 km per hour, and it takes just 1 minute to cross this bridge. Suppose the length of this bridge is x. So after 1 minute the train will be here. So distance covered by train in 1 minute will be x plus 200 meter. Now on applying the formula, distance is equal to speed into time. So here we know the distance is x plus 200 meter. Speed of the train is 600 kilometer per hour, and the time is 1 minute. So here I am just converting all the kilometer value into meter and hour value into minutes. So on converting, we will get x plus 200 equals to 60 into multiplied by 1000 meter upon 1 hour equals to 60 minutes and 1 minute. So 60 will be cancelled by 60. X plus 200 equals to 1000. Then x equals to 1000 minus 200, that is 800. So this is the length of the bridge, that is our answer, 800. Answer of this question is B, 800 meter. Question number 36 is, a home loan lending company claims to be lending money at simple interest but includes interest at every 6 months for calculating the principal. If it is charging an interest of 12%, then the effective rate of interest become. So let's solve this question. So let us first assume that the sum is 100 rupees. Then the simple interest for first 6 months equals to 100 rupees multiplied by the interest into the time, that is 6 months, upon 100 for percentage, and 12 is the number of month in a year. On calculating this, we will get 6 rupees as interest. Now calculate the simple interest for second half of the year, that is 6 months. So it will be 106 rupees multiplied by 12% interest, then 6 the number of months, then divided by 100 multiplied by 12, which is number of months in a year. So it will come as 6.36 rupees. Now we can easily find the interest at the end of year, which is equals to 100, that is the sum amount, then 6 rupees of first 6 month interest. 6.36 is the later 6 month interest. On calculating it, we will get 112.36 rupees Now effective interest is 112.36 subtracted by the 100 equals to 12.36%. So this is our answer. Option number B, 12.36%. Next question is, from a point X on a ground level, the angle of elevation of top of the tower is 45 degree. If the tower is 30 meter high, the distance of point X from the foot of the tower is. So let's understand this question with a diagram. So this is the point X, and which is in some distance of a tower, and the height of the tower is 30 meter. So just mark it as Y. Z is the tower, and it is also given that this angle is 45 degree. This is a question of basic trigonometry. So what formula of trigonometry we can use here is depend on what we have to find. So in this question we have to find the distance between X and Z, which is also the base of this triangle. So I have a trick to remember all those formulas, and for this you just have to write sine, cos, tan. Then opposite of sine is cot, opposite of cos is sec, and opposite of tan is cot. Now here in this triangle, this is the hypotenuse, this is the base, and we are calling it perpendicular, the height. Now the trick is Pandit Badri Prasad Har Bole. From this we can find the most suitable formula. Now we don't know the hypotenuse, so we will take this formula, because in this perpendicular, that is the height, is given, and we have to find the base of the triangle. Also the angle is given, that is 45 degree. So we will take cot 45 equals to base upon perpendicular. So this is our formula. Value of cot 45 is 1 equals to base, that is what we have to find, upon 30, that is the height of the tower. So on solving this we will get B equals to 30 meter. So this exact distance will be 30 meter. So our answer will be option number D, 30 meter. Let's move to the next question. That is question number 38. A fruit seller had some mangoes. He sells 30% mangoes and still has 350 mangoes than originally he had. So let's solve this. So as per this question, he sold 30% of mangoes, then he still have 70% mangoes, and this 70% is equals to 350. Then 1% will be calculated by dividing 350 with 70. So this 0 will cancel by this 0. 7 5s are 35. So 1% is equals to 5 mangoes. Now if 1% is equals to 5 mangoes, then 100% will equals to 5 into 100, that is 500 mangoes. So this will be our answer, 500 mangoes, option number C. Next question is, A is 5 years older than B, B is 10 years older than C. If the total ages of A, B and C are 40, then how old is B? So in this question it is given that A plus B plus C equals to 40 years. Now assume that the age of C is C. So on putting this in equation 1, we will get C plus B, that is 10 years older than C. So we will write this, and A's age is C plus 10, that is the age of B, and A is 5 years older than B. So this is the age of A, this is the age of B, and C's age is C, is equals to 40. Now simplify this. 10 plus 5 15, 15 plus 10 25, plus 3C equals to 40, and on calculating this we will get 3C equals to 15. Now just divide 15 by 3, so we will get 5, which is the age of C. Now in question they asked to find the age of B, that is 10 plus C. So 10 plus C's age is 5, that is 15 years. So B's age is 15 years. So our answer will be option number A, 15 years. Question number 40 is, which of the following is a non-point source of water pollution? A non-point source of water pollution generally comes from oil, pet waste, pesticides, and any other contaminant that ends up on the ground naturally or from human activity. And it is very hard to find this non-point source, whereas point source pollution is easy to identify. So it generally comes from a single place. For example, sewage treatment plants or factories. So option number A and option number B will not be the answer of this question. Individual households living in urban and suburban lands are very common non-point source of water pollution. So the correct answer of this question is option number C, urban and suburban lands. Next question is, rooftop rainwater harvesting system followed in Rajasthan is known as, so it is known as takas or tankas. Question number 42 is, which of the following statement is not correct with respect to smart city? So let's see the statements one by one. Provide real-time information on parking, traffic congestion and public transport. So this is generally a part of smart city. Urban region that is highly advanced in terms of overall infrastructure, sustainable real estate, communication and market viability. So it is also a part of smart city. Energy efficient and will have low carbon footprint. So this is the goal of smart city. So the answer is none of the above, because all the other options are correct with respect to the smart city. Next question is, surge tanks are generally used. So surge tanks are generally used in hydropower plant. This is the tank and this is the surge tanks. It is connected to the main tank, and this is the hydropower plant. They are generally used to maintain the pressure. It generally reduces the pressure force during the acceleration of large water masses. So when large amount of water flows, it acts like a hammer, and to reduce this effect we generally use surge tanks. So the correct answer of this question is option number A, to guard against water hammer. Let's move to the next question. Question number 44 is, what is gentrification? So gentrification is a process of urban development in which city neighborhood develops rapidly over a short period of time, changing from low to high value. For example, if a metro is coming in an area, then what it will do? It will do the increment in the land price, due to which the residents who are living earlier have to move out of that area because of the high prices or rise in high price, because in such lands the rent and living cost increased rapidly. Therefore, the correct answer of this question is option number C, the movement of the middle class into suburban areas. Question number 45 is, name the first state in India which has made rooftop rainwater harvesting system compulsory for all the households across the state. So Tamil Nadu is the state which made rooftop rainwater harvesting system compulsory for all the houses. Question number 46, a septic tank is a... So friends, septic tank is generally work on two principles. One is sedimentation process. So in sedimentation process, the suspended particles generally settle down on the base of the surface due to gravitational force, also known as settling. And the other one is anaerobic process. That's why it is also known as digestion tank. So the correct answer of this question is option number B, Q and R. So a septic tank is generally a settling tank and also a digestion tank. And what is the definition of a septic tank? So a septic tank is generally an underground chamber, and it is a very common practice of domestic sewage treatment. Now move to the next question. The term municipal solid waste is generally used to describe... So friends, I am sure you are very much aware with the term municipal or municipality. So basically it is a boundary or jurisdiction within which a municipal council or municipality works or governs. And any kind of waste which generate within this boundary, whether it is a home, commercial or any kind of industrial waste, and that waste is known as municipal solid waste. So the correct answer of this question is option number C, waste from homes, commercial establishment and institutions. Next question is, in colder climates, passive solar design is most effective when? So friends, there are some design principles that we generally follow to achieve the passive solar design for colder climates. So let's understand what are those principles. Suppose this is our main building. This is the east direction, this is north, south and this is west. This is the sun path direction, which generally goes slightly tilting towards the south direction. So in colder climates, we generally used to provide windows on the southern side, so the rooms will get the maximum sunlight. Also you can see that in this diagram the longer side of the building is oriented east to west, so that if sun moves east to west, then the building will get more sunlight. Similarly, the location of rooms should be in this way, so that it will get the proper sunlight throughout the day. Therefore, room should face towards the south. Now get back to the question and read the statement one by one. Statement A is, largest amount of windows face west. So this is a false statement because the window should face towards the south. Next statement is, longer axis of the building runs north to south. This is also false because the longer axis should be east to west. Third statement is, most of the used rooms are located on the west side of the building. So this is also a false statement because the most used room or active room should be located on the south side of the building. So the answer of this question is option number D, none of the above. Let's move to the next question. Question number 49 is, which of the following is not applicable with respect to performance of the window glass? Option A is visible transmittance. So visible transmittance is nothing but the transparency and opacity of the glass window, and it generally measure in 0 to 1 scale, where 0 means 0% and 1 means 100%. Option B is solar heat gain coefficient, which is also the amount of heat which can pass through a window. It also measure in 0 to 1 scale, where 0 means 0% and 1 means 100%. For example, if the solar heat gain coefficient of a window is 0.3, so this means 30% of the solar heat will pass through this window. Third is condensation resistance, and it focuses on the improving indoor environment quality and limiting the amount of moisture in a room. And all these are the important factor on which the performance of a glass window is based. Next question is xeriscaping is a landscaping technique or method to conserve water by using such plants that requires less water and irrigation. So the correct answer of this question is option number A, landscaping and gardening that reduces or eliminates the need for supplement water for irrigation. Moving to the next question, bioremediation is. So friends, bioremediation is a branch of biotechnology in which living organisms such as bacteria and microbes are used to remove the pollutant or contaminant present in a soil, water or any other environment. So the correct answer of this question is option number C, a waste management technique that involves the use of organism to remove pollutant from a contaminated site. Next question is green rating for integrated habitat assessment for green building in India was conceived by. So this GRIHA rating was conceived by the Energy Resource Institute, that is also known as TERI. So the correct answer is option number C, and it was developed jointly by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. Now let's move to the next question. Question number 53, as per ASHRAE recommendation, what is the rate of fresh air distribution requires in a building to prevent sick building syndrome? So as per ASHRAE, the rate of pumping of fresh air distribution that is required in a building is 900 to 1200 cubic feet per hour. So the correct answer is option number D. And what is ASHRAE? So ASHRAE's full form is American Society of Heating, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineers. Let's move to the next question. Match the statements in group 1 with that of group 2 on color and what they convey in interior spaces. So in this question, in group 1, there are 4 colors names are given, and we have to just tell what these color convey or feels in an interior space. So pastel yellow color represents the stimulating brightness and coziness. Red color generally represents the aggressive, advancing and dominant nature. Green is the color of simplicity, security and balance. And white is the symbol of purity, sterile, emptiness and deceiveness. So this is S. Therefore the correct answer of this question is option number B, P2, Q3, R4 and S1. Question number 55 is, in the rock cut architecture of India, which foreign influence is seen? So in rock cut architecture of India, Persian influence is visible. So the correct answer of this question is Persian. And in India, the Barabar caves is the oldest rock cut found in 3rd century BC. Next question is, which foreign influence is seen in the architecture of the city of Cochin in Kerala, India? So friends, Kochi city was ruled by Dutch, British and Portuguese, and all these three have big impact on the architecture of Cochin city. So the correct answer of this question is all of the above, option number D. Next question is, the tallest among all the early medieval temple of India is? So friends, Brihadreshwara temple, which is located in Tanjore, is the tallest temple of India, and its construction was completed in 109 BC. So the correct answer of this question is Brihadreshwara temple at Tanjore. Now let's move to the next question. The seven rathas or pagodas at Mahabalipuram, Tamil Nadu, India was constructed by. So the correct answer of this question is Pallavas. And this is the seven rath or pagodas at Mahabalipuram. You can see in this picture. Now move to the next question. Flying buttresses, ribbed vault and pointed arches are the characteristic style elements of. So the correct answer of this question is Gothic architecture, because flying buttresses and ribbed vault are used in Gothic architecture for the first time. Next question is geometric masterpiece Guggenheim Museum, New York was designed by. So this is very famous building and it was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. And some other famous building of F.L. Wright is Falling Water and Unity Temple. Our next question is brutalism is a style or movement in architecture wherein. So friends, brutalism is an architecture style and it was started by Le Corbusier in 1950. And brutalist buildings are characterized by minimalistic construction that showcase the bare building material and its structural elements. So the correct answer of this question is option number A. Building material, structural elements, services are exposed in pure and in honesty form. Also in this question, option number D, which is a predetermined standard module, is used for coordinating various components of building. So this is the prefabrication technique. Let's move to the next question. Which one of the following Greek order is most decorative? So friends, there are mainly three kinds of Greek orders. The first one is Doric, which is the most simplest Greek order, and it looks like this. Second is Ionic order, and it is slightly more decorative than the Doric order. It has a scroll at the top. Rest of the column is very similar to the Doric order. And third one is Corinthian. So Corinthian is the most decorative Greek order. It has leaf and flower, and it looks like this. It also has flute. So these are the three orders that was developed by Greek, whereas Tuscan order was developed by Romans. And the correct answer of this question is Corinthian order, which is the most decorative Greek order. Our next question is, in an ancient Roman design, hippodrome was. So hippodromes are ancient Greek stadium designed for horse racing and especially for chariot racing. And in Roman it is known as circus. So the correct answer of this question is option number C, to hold horse and chariot racings. And plan of an hippodromes looks like a horseshoe shape. Let's move to the next question. Question number 64 is, a grotesquely carved figure of human or animal projecting from gutter and serves as a rainwater spout is called. So the correct answer of this question is option number D, gargoyles. And gargoyles are very common and decorative building elements of Gothic architecture. So here in this picture you can see the image of gargoyle. Our next question is, Victoria Memorial in Kolkata was designed by. So Victoria Memorial in Kolkata was designed by Sir William Emerson, whereas a bridge and North Gate was designed by Vincent J. Eck. Edwin Lutyens designs the Delhi city, whereas Herbert Baker designs the Secretariat building. and Parliament House. Of New Delhi. But the Victoria Memorial was designed by Sir William Emerson, which is the correct answer of this question. Next question is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Housing for All, provides central assistance to urban local bodies through states or UTs for. Let's see the options one by one. Option A is in situ rehabilitation of existing urban slum dwellers using land as a resource through private partnership. So yes, it is an in situ rehabilitation. So this is correct. Option B is affordable housing in partnership. So yes, it is also an affordable housing in partnership. Option C is subsidiary for beneficiary-led individual house construction enhancement. So yes, it provides subsidiaries. So the correct answer of this question is option number D, all of the above. Question number 67 is supports roof gardens, free floor plans, free facade and ribbon windows as 5 point of modern architecture was developed by. So this concept was developed by Le Corbusier and his work Villa Savoy, that is located in Boise, Illinois, is the famous example of 5 point of modern architecture concept. Next question is what is the name of very ornate architecture style developed in the later Renaissance period? So the architecture style that was developed immediate after the Renaissance period is Baroque. So the correct answer of this question is option number C. Next question is what is the function of overhanging slab in Frank Lloyd Wright's falling water structure building? So the main function of overhanging slabs in F.L. Wright's falling water building is terrace. So the correct answer is option number D. Our next question is match the trees in group 1 with their overall form in group 2. P is Grevillea robusta or silver oak. So silver oak is generally a columnar tree. So this is P. Q is Tamarindus indica or tamarind. So tamarinds tree are generally tall trees with broad canopy. So this is Q. R is Callistomum lanceolatus or bottle brush. So this is known as weeping trees. Last is Jacaranda mimosifolia, which is also known as Neeli Gulmohar. So these are generally the tree with spreading habits. So this will be S. So as per this, the correct answer of this question will be option number A. Next question is in which of the following garden symbolically white sand represent water and flat rock represent earth? So these are the symbology generally found in Japanese dry garden. So the correct answer is option number D, Japanese garden. It is also known as Zen garden. And these gardens are generally made of stones, gravel and sands, in which larger stones are symbolize mountains, islands and waterfalls, whereas gravel and sand represents the water. Next question is Charbagh or Cheharbagh garden layout is typical style of. So the correct answer of this question is Persian garden. And why it is called Charbagh? So these type of gardens are generally divided in 4 parts, in which the division space is used as pathways and rest of the 4 part is well landscaped. Question number 73 is the semicircular or triangular decorative wall surface over an entrance bounded by a lintel and arch is called. So the correct answer of this question is option number A, tympanum. So tympanums are generally an arch-shaped or rectangular shaped decorative design over the doors. Also in this picture you can see the original image of tympanum. Let's move to the next question. In Chandigarh city plan, architect Lee Corbusier's V7 concept relates to? So V7 concept is related to hierarchy of roads. So the correct answer is option number B. So V7s are generally the roads within the sectors, where V1 represents the arterial road, V2 represents the major boulevard, V3 are the sector definers, V4 are the shopping street roads, V5 are the neighborhood street, V6 are the access lanes, and V7 are pedestrian or cycle tracks. So this is the hierarchy of roads used by Lee Corbusier, which is also known as V7 concept. Next question is, in the ancient system of town planning in India, the pattern of plan which resembles the petal of roses radiating outwards from the center is called? The correct answer of this question is option number C, Padmaka, which is one of the type of famous Mansaras. 8 type of town plan. Now let's look into the plan of Padmaka. So it is generally of an octagonal shape, where the main buildings are located. These are the individual plotting, and the outer side of this octagon is bounded by this petal shaped roads. So these are the roads. So that's why it resembles the petal of roses. Question number 77 is the most influential book, The Image of the City 1960, which had important and durable influence in the field of urban planning and environmental psychology, was authored by. So this book was written by Kevin Lynch. So the answer is option number C. And in this book, he introduced and describes the 5 elements of town planning, that is nodes, paths, districts, landmarks, and edges. So just remember these 5 elements because it is oftenly asked in similar kind of exams. Now move to the next question. Jawahar Kala Kendra building, Jaipur, merging the mystic power of the Navgrahas and the modernity of science, was designed by. So Jawahar Kala Kendra was designed by Charles Correa, and its some other famous works are National Craft Museum and Bharat Bhavan Bhopal. Next question is, who coined the phrase form follows function as a principle associated with modernist architecture and industrial design? So the correct answer of this question is option number C, Louis Sullivan. So Louis Sullivan said this famous phrase in 1896 in his article or essay. The title of essay was The Tall Office Building Artistically Considered. Mies van der Rohe's famous quote was, "God is in the detail." And Walter Gropius said the quote, "Architecture begins where engineering ends. Now let's see the last question of this video. Historic railway station Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus, formerly Victoria Terminus, which is located in Mumbai, is the best example of the architecture style of, and the correct answer of this question is option number D, Victorian Gothic Revival architecture. So friend, that's it in this video and in this series. If this video was helpful, please do subscribe. Also do like this video. If you have any doubts or suggestion, comment us down here. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.